achievement one should remember, and the way he got that one, you say that's very important. And not only that, he's a person to person. He was very close, and not only that, he did want to, that take out something. He wanted to keep something. This is very important. I can thank you very much. And this is the kind of a, that I can tell you.
Thank you, Professor Ashish Datta. Professor Akhilesh Tyagi, if you could say a few words, please.
So, dear colleagues, of course, we all have been working in different capacities with Dr. Joshi, and it is said that he left us sometime back, last month, 15. What is important is to know that how a boy from a small village in Kumayu could rise to the level of becoming Director General of CSIR and could be recognized with awards like Padma Bhushan and Bhatnagar Award. So that was the life which Professor Joshi lived, and therefore it is also a time to remember his contributions and also celebrate his life. In this regard, I would like to say that many of us can recall he had a remarkable, distinct smile, which will disarm you and also connect you with him immediately. We had several occasions during the NASI meetings to discuss with each other, and interestingly, he would be interested about the GM crops and the plant breeding, and I would be interested in learning about quantum dots from him. So we both, of course, went on to learn from each other. And the interesting thing was that he will immediately make you at ease, and therefore you would ask all kind of questions which you could ask from him. And in return of that, I got the benefit that he sent several trainee students to my laboratory for training. So that was the connection which I could establish with him, and also learn a lot about what he has been doing in his own area, although my understanding of it was very limited being a biologist. What I can say ultimately that Professor Joshi has been a wonderful senior colleague who told us about the past, who prophesied about the future, and who guided us through the present. I really miss him, and I think most of us will miss him, but will remember him for very long for his contribution to science, to the academy, and to the society as such, as well as policy matters of the government of India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Akhilesh Tyagi. We have all collected from Delhi, but there is one person who is very close to, who was very close to Professor Joshi, is Professor H.S. Mani, who lives in Chennai. So I had requested him to participate, and he is there, I think. So, Professor Mani, if you could say a few words, please, if you are able to listen to me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Like anyone else, I am deeply shocked by this news. And I have known Professor Joshi for more than 2 decades. He had visited Kanpur when I met him first. I had heard about him earlier from many of his students, and he gave an overview talk on band theory. And it was an exceptional talk. My contact with him then increased when I moved to Allahabad. In 1992, we met often, and his advice, both in academic and administrative matters, were very useful to me. I recall his talk in a public meeting in Allahabad, where several prominent academicians were extolling the role played by Allahabad University. He gently but firmly reminded of them a great deal needs to be done to get those days back. He put forward his views, which may not have been very complimentary, but in such a way that would be constructive, a trait I had to learn. He was a good science communicator. Yeah. About 7 years or so ago, I happened to meet a couple of school students in Chennai. I interact with them, and in general was talking about their interest in their career. One of the students said she wanted to pursue science, and the reason she gave was that she had attended one of the short courses recently which changed her mind, pursuing engineering or management. She also added it was Professor Joshi's lecture which inspired her. When I told her I knew him, my bow with students had gone up. I narrated this to Professor Joshi. He felt happy that such efforts taken by the academic do yield results. Whenever we were in Allahabad, we used to go for morning walks, and it was an effort for me to keep pace with him. During that time, he would be discussing areas which require strengthening in teaching physics. Of course, he, like many of us, felt that experimental physics in colleges and universities need to be strengthened, and he contributed enormously in this direction. Professor Joshi was a giant, and I'm fortunate to have had such a long, useful advice from him. Will always remember him as my mentor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mani. Thank you very much. Mani, since you read it out, if you could kindly send that to me, I will try to send it to Mrs. Joshi and this thing. Since you have a thing written up, I will take a printout, and that will be there. Anyone who would like to, I mean, Professor Akhilesh Tyagi, Professor Ashish Datta, everyone spoke so nicely. I wish we could have recorded it. That would have been such a good thing for the family to listen to, and the tremendous respect that we all have and love that we have for Joshi ji. If anyone else would like to speak, Professor Pandey, Professor Bimla Bhuti, Professor Amit, the floor is now open. Anurag, Professor Pandey, would you like to say a few words? Professor Pandey is the director, IUSC, Inter-University Accelerator Center.
It is a sad moment, sir. Professor Joshi always based us in Allahabad. And I could remember some of the things when he was a member of Executive Council. And at that time, with the help of Professor G.K. Mehta, Professor Joshi, they shaped the future of University of Allahabad to get transformed from a state university to Central University. And he was instrumental in motivating me to take a challenge for setting up an accelerator center there at Allahabad. When I was facing problem in a state university, a committee was constituted by GST and with the chairmanship of Professor Joshi, in which Professor Ashutosh Sharma, who is now currently Secretary GST, Professor O.N. Srivastava from BHU, and also Professor Arup Chaudhary from Kolkata. What happened, like every 3 months, Professor Joshi used to come to Allahabad, sit with the PI, and also he made a point that Vice Chancellor should also be invited. All the problems relating to the implementing of the project were actually handled, and he guided how to go about rejuvenating experimental physics, experimental sciences in the university. I also remember when he was honored by Senate House, by University of Allahabad, he became emotional. He told the story where from he started, from Kumaon, and how he landed in Allahabad and how he struggled. Whenever he used to come to Allahabad for NASI meeting, he used to go to the place where he used to study, he used to spend night in the department. If I recount the developments, the support which we got at IUSC is enormous. He was chairman of governing council of this IUSC from 1997 to 2000. And most of the new things, like the second phase, the LINAC-based module which were added to boost the energy, HERA, RIB from HERA, and also high current injector, which is still being implemented, was incepted at his time, superconducting-based ECR source for low energy ion beam facility. You name the things and you'll find some germination that took place in his regime when he was chairman of IUSC. I also had an opportunity to work with him in the governing council of ARIES, Nainital. You know that the institute got transformed from, first it was State Observatory of Uttar Pradesh. When Uttar Pradesh got divided into 2 states, it became part of Uttarakhand. And gradually it was considered as, or recognized as autonomous institution of DST. It had a lot of problems. and Professor Joshi could handle in such a nice manner that we could take pride of setting up 3.6 meter telescope there at Bhavastal in a hard terrain with all precautions which we should take for setting up that facility there. And he has been, I was working with in a committee, he was chairing this committee here in IUAC to identify some of the accelerator centers which have been created elsewhere in the country in some universities, but they are facing problem in terms of sustenance. So DST secretary, DAE chairman, UGC, they were all concerned and they found the best person in this country to lead that idea how to identify the satellite centers of this IUAC to strengthen them so that the young minds in the universities could also be trained in experimental physics. And I'm sorry to say that we waited a lot. Like when he was ill, he was not able to. I was actually in touch with the consulting doctor from AIMS. He was member of my committee. And at those times when the country was passing through a bad phase, he was deprived of some of the medicines which were actually required for his pain-killing thing, because that requires prescription. He was in great pain, despite the fact that he communicated through Mrs. Joshi that you go ahead, and we had to conclude that meeting after he passed away. So with the heavy heart, we have always looked at his blessings that he is always there. And with his inspiration, we could do something, and now we have submitted the report to find out ways by which we can sustain the facilities which has been created in universities. Universities have a different problem, and he was mindful of this problem, that how to come out and how to facilitate them so that they can also become a seat of learning. They were a seat of learning at one point of time, but something happened, and because of that, we passed our, the glory was somehow, I should not say, but the problem is that he always encouraged, and he got his strength from his smile, from his benevolent presence, and with simplicity when he used to come and sit and advise and steer the meeting and tell you something which you never thought that this could also be a possibility. With this, I condole the death of Professor Joshi. It is an immense loss. It is an immense loss for our country, for me as an individual, and for everybody in the science. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Pandey. By listening to you, I realized, not only to all the academies, but to so many research institutions he had guided and contributed so extensively, from IUAC to the observatory to National Physical Laboratory to CSIR. It's really amazing. In addition to his outstanding research contributions and his simplicity, his accessibility, everything is really amazing. Something for all of us to learn. Yes, Lalit Mohanji, would you like, you said that you wanted to speak. I can't hear you. You have to turn on your mic. Maybe we all give little short presentations, very short. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much for giving the time. I was at NPL when he joined as a director at NPL. I was working in the carbon group, and he called me. He said, we're working on carbon composite. He said that the country has a lot of expectations from you. But within a short time, I was invited by Sardar Patel University. I went to him that I have been invited to start a Department of Material Science at Sardar Patel University. He said, you don't go to the state university. Well, you will be, I said, okay, you give me 2 years. I will try, otherwise I will come back. And he was so kind that he extended my lien in CSIR for 7 years. And then he wrote to me, he said, Manoj, you have proved me wrong, because you have developed this department as a department of international repute. And I asked you not to go, but I now say that you have proved me wrong, and I will come. So UGC made him as a member of my advisory committee, and the department within a short period of 10 years became the Institute of International Research by UGC and got the greatest grant. So there was another incident that when I went for presentation to UGC for SAP, 1 to SAP 2, I was not sure because we were short of the staff. Dr. Joshi was the chairman of the committee. And so I made the presentation. After a short time, the UGC undersecretary called me. I said, okay, they will say, sorry, we cannot give you grant because you are not fulfilling the condition of the staff. But Dr. Joshi smiled. He said, Manoja, we have counted the point. Out of 100, you have got 106 because you got a patent, you got industrial license, etc. Now, instead of SAP, we give you cash. So instead of SAP, he elevated it to cash. So like that one, he was very positive. But at the same time, when he visited my department, he said, Manoja, it's not the money that matters. It's the publications. It's the outcome that your young faculty and yourself should pay back to the country. So like that one, he was always a source of inspiration to me. Even after my superannuation, I used to visit because I live in Gurgaon in sector 45, and my wife, and we had a family relations, like his wife and